So a bright African good afternoon to you, wherever you're joining us from. You are tuned into Africa Homecomers Day 2022. My name is Anthea Beatrice Achaleke, and I am your host. So we are having quite a lot of challenges with the network, with some of our guest speakers. And you bear with us. I'm trying to get some of them in, but it's really not a good day today. I'm trying to juggle because power is gone on my site and I have to do this on the phone. This is the first time that I do this on the phone, so bear with me if I am struggling.
Hi everyone. The network is not the best and maybe she has been kicked out. And we are already into the time for our second roundtable. I would like for us to just
So again, I want to apologize for those of you who are joining us, online. We are having some challenges with the network. Marie, are you speaking? Hello? So we're having challenges with network with this live stream. Please bear with us. But we will try to proceed with those of you who are here. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So you can join the conversation from there. And we're celebrating Africa's Homecomers this year. And this panel session is dedicated to those who are doing the work at home, those who have returned, and I want to go check on my guest who is in the studio right now. I see Mbao. Mbao, can you hear me? You are in Zambia. Let me know if you can
Hi,
hear me.
yes, I can
Okay.
hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I do hear you. That's nice. So some of our guests will be joining us or by audio because the network is really not very good today in many places. So you kindly bear with us. She's here. Great. So, sister, I see some of the guest speakers are not yet here. Some are coming in and out because of the network. And I will just invite you to introduce yourself. You are women who have been abroad, you've been to many places, and you've come back to the continent to set up base, but also to run your own business. You're here in pursuit of your African dream, and you are doing your thing here. You're imposing your greener pastures here. So, what I need you to do is just take a few minutes, like 2 seconds, to introduce yourself, and then tell us about what your homecoming journey has been like and give us all the juicy parts, but give us the challenges that you face and that you need to overcome, that you have had to overcome. And bear in mind that we still have a Q&A session later where we go deeply into the opportunities and the possibilities. This session is just on you. How has the journey been for you? So I will go start with Marie. I see you next to me. Take it away and quickly, in 2 seconds, introduce yourself and tell us how your journey has been. And after that, we'll go to Zambia and meet our system guy. We go deeply into the opportunities and the possibilities. This session is just on you. How has the journey been for you? So I will go start with Marie. I see you next to me. take it away and quickly in 2 seconds introduce yourself and tell us how your journey has been. And after that, we'll go to Zambia and meet our system guy.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Maria Abanga, and I am from and in Cameroon. So I spent 4 years away. I was in Belgium, and at one point the winter was so harsh, and I wasn't there with my children, and just adapting wasn't coming along, and I decided to come back home. I was studying, and once I finished studying, I had a good job, but I did not want to stay there anymore. I was my mother's house. But the job in what it me, there's no reason to, I don't even want to go visit abroad anymore. I'm like so happy to be back. We lose seconds were oh, previous is not the best for us.
No, the network experience today is not very good. I will pass the baton up to my sister Bao. Bao, please take it away and introduce yourself. We're hoping that the network will be indulgent with us. Bao, are you still here? Oh no, let me go check on her. Marie, help me from the studio, see if any guest is there. I'm juggling from the phone. This is the first time that I'm using the phone to stream today. And okay, Dr. Telema is here. Let's get him on the screen. So great. Now we're in Zambia. Mbao, my sister. If you can hear me, just take it away. Quickly introduce yourself and tell us how the journey has been for you. I see she's speaking.
Absolutely. My name is Mbao Ngola, and I am founder and executive director of Project Educate. I am also a founder of something called Zambezi Botanic Oils. The journey for me really has been, for the lack of a better term, daunting. It's been a learning experience, but in the short term, the bottom line is one of the best decisions I ever made was coming back home, because I was lucky enough in that at some point I realized that whatever it was that I had acquired was actually going to be more useful at home than living in Europe or living in America. So I know we are challenged with internet and time, so I'll hand it back over to you, Beatrice.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that quick one. Let's benefit and go straight to Nigeria from Zambia. Dr. Telema, you are a homecomer yourself. You've been home for quite a while. I think you're one of the longest homecomer amongst us. How was the decision to come back home? The decision to leave and then the decision to come back home, and how has the coming back home journey been for you so far, in a nutshell?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Telema Awantaye, and I am the founder Telematic Healthcare Nigeria. I'm also the president. Well, to jump right into it, the decision to come back home wasn't quite easy because I was surrounded by, fellow Africans who, had that mindset that it would be better to, go to either the US or the UK as a medical doctor. They have the concept that you get better pay there and all that. So it wasn't quite easy, and I was pretty young then. But even when I I tried to stay back. I discovered that no matter how much I earned there, or no matter how much I got paid, I would still just be considered second class, And at that age, I just decided that, man, the US, UK, not for me. I just have to come back home. And I have been in Nigeria for 8 years now. I got back in 2013. So I would say that when I got back, it wasn't easy, adapting and getting stuff working, because in Africa, like Stefan said, there are challenges, so I had to come back into that space, but I mean, that was the reality that I had to accept, and I got things going. I wouldn't say that I'm there yet, where I want to be, but I have hope, and I believe that this continent has everything that I need, and so why leave it? Why go outside my home, when I can grab everything that I need to succeed here in Africa. That's basically it for me.
Thank you, Doctor. That's quite daunting. I think a lot of us go through that decision, and surrounded by people who would rather think like greener pastures are somewhere else, even though you're juggling and struggling with a whole lot of things, including your identity, who you are. And I think we kind of tend to look a little bit too negative on the continent, or not consider it as an option. And again, I'm looking at the people that are coming into the continent and wondering, what kind of eye they had on the continent that we should have. I see my sister Anthea, she has made it. I know we're all struggling with load shedding. SA is on the top of the list, STP as well. So on my side, power is gone, and I'm struggling to do this from my phone for the first time, and I'm hoping that power comes back quickly. My sister Anthea, we went from Zambia to Nigeria, and then from Nigeria now to South Africa. You have been abroad. You have experienced life abroad. You also made a conscious decision to come back. And ever since you've come back, you've been doing incredible work in South Africa. And I don't want to take it. I don't want to do it for you, but I'll ask you to quickly introduce yourself. And again, zoom in into you and say, what has this homecoming journey been for you? How has it impacted you personally? Let's not go to the people that you're impacting first. Let's stay with you. How has it been? How was the decision made? Any regrets?
Hello, everybody. No regrets at all. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, sis.
It was the biggest blessing in disguise to come back. And by living in the UK for 2 years, I began to realize that the grass was not greener on the other side. And I realized that if the grass was watered from where I was able to take care of it, grow my own grass. And that would have been the UK for 2 years. I began to realize that the grass was not greener on the other side. And I was 40 at the time, and my son was 4 years old. And I took him to school in the UK, and I took it on me when I dropped off that he was the only brown child in that class. And then I realized that my son is going to lose his culture and forget his heritage. So I decided to return. And I promised myself as a young mother, I just need to change my child on the continent. And that is to change the African narrative for the next generation. Because what I realized was that the stories we were told, most of it was lies. And we as adults are still struggling with all that programming of the past. the lies, indoctrination, and also the lack of us identifying our inner power as Africans, and actually for us to find our power to change Africa to become a greater continent in the world. So I realized at that time that the colonizers have educated us beyond our common senses, and that we still believe that schooling is the best way to come out of poverty. And we have abandoned our countries for greener pastures. And I was one of them who thought that. And when I was living in the UK, I realized that I cannot fix the challenges and the problems and come up with solutions if I'm not on the continent. So today, as an African literature activist and the founder of Feed a Mind TV, which I'm busy building to awaken the sleeping minds on the continent, my goal and my mission is to use this network on the 54 continents to enlighten the people's hearts and minds and souls, and also for me to tap into the diaspora, and I call it the Greater Africa, for our brothers and sisters to see that the greatness lies in Africa. We are the richest continent in the world, but we have never been able to reinvent ourselves as Africans to build collectively together. So in 98, I started the African Authors Honorary Awards. And for the past 5 years, I've tapped into 24 countries. No investors, no loans. And it was just a matter of finding the enlightened ones and get them to walk with me side by side to achieve this goal. I'm proud today to say that Beatrice has also walked this Ubuntu journey with me, and I am a testament that we can build the Africa that we want to live in. All we need as Africans is to trust each other, to support each other with their respective individual vision to bring change to the continent in our own lanes. And for me, as an African who came back and to be in 24 countries, that means that a network can go into 24 countries and start enlightening our people with the truth. Unless we know the truth about our past and how we can build from where we are with what we have collectively, we can reap the benefits of collective collaboration on the continent. So we need to start thinking, all of us around the world, how can we use our expertise and our knowledge to come together from where we are on digital platforms and really build what is needed for the next generation to have a greater opportunity on the continent. And for me, there is nothing as a greener pasture, because we are leaving the best continent in the world. And for me, at the time when I was in the UK, I felt like a survivalist. I felt like I was not home. When you're seated in tables in a foreign land, it's not a welcoming environment. So today, I plea all of you, if we as Africans can invest $1 into a network that are owned by us, for us, stories for us, by us. We don't own enough media in the world so that our people can be fed with the truth and fed with the information that they need to pick up the pieces and just build forward. And I believe that today on this platform that we are the only ones that can dismantle this generational curse in Africa. And media right now has the biggest influence on disconnecting Africans from Africa. And today I will say that I return to my greener pastures in South Africa to be the change from here to the 54 countries on the continent.
Thank you so much, sister. And you have been walking that talk. You know, you're not just talking, you're doing it. And we see it, the lives that you touch, the initiatives that you've brought to life ever since you've been back, you know, in a very short time is just incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that testimony and for calling to action, more action. I think I'll go back now to Mbayo. Let's go back to Zambia and give her the chance to expand a little bit on, you know, go from yourself, the experience that it has been for you, to the impact that you're creating in your environment. You know, since you've been back on the continent, you know, some of the things that you probably would not have been able to do from a distance had you stayed abroad. Come, tell us, share with us, you know, the impact that you've been creating. Sister Bao, can you hear me?
Asking me a question? Or is
no, I was speaking to
Hi, you know what? That's I've actually been going, and I was on mute. No, I was just saying that when she was talking, when the speaker from South Africa was talking, one of the things that struck me was this thing of not being able to effectuate change from afar. I think we can all attest to the fact that in order for us to bring about whatever change, big or small, we had to be back home. Change is not something that we can do by remote control. I think, Beatrice, the last time we had a similar conversation, I was talking about how I needed to walk this land. I needed to breathe this air. I needed to reconnect with my people, because the reality is, or was at the time, the community, the people, individuals that I left decades ago, it's not necessarily the same people that I came back home to. That's why they say you can't go back home. You find people changed. And so if you expect that you're going to be away for so long, and then you're going to come back home, and you know a people and you know a community, what that does in your mind is tells you that now you're going to force things on people. And for me, there was a relearning there, needing to, again, walk the land, breathe the air, talk to the people, engage with them one-on-one in order to find out not just what they needed, what they wanted, but how together we could marry my knowledge and experience with their knowledge and experience to come back with potential solutions. And I remember my first endeavor was to send some 500 computers back home. This was the first time my rural hometown of Mongu was using computers en masse in the school system. But something became very clear. It wasn't working. We had spent the money. We had sent volunteers from the US to come to Zambia, but it wasn't working. It wasn't enough to simply provide the resources. It only started working when we had a shift. We shifted from focusing on what we thought were the challenges and focusing on the strengths of the individuals and the community themselves. I think that is part of where the flow of the whole Africa development narrative is. We think there is so much scarcity, but if you're paying attention, what you're going to find is that that scarcity is often exaggerated. Instead of focusing on the weaknesses, on the challenges, why don't we focus on the strength? And so we started doing that, and we found that our women and our young people were really, really interested in what was going on in their community. Beyond being interested, they had very interesting ideas about how to change that. We started finding out that young people were really, really creative in ways that were relevant to the community that we were in. And so now, instead of saying, here you go, take this, make use of it, we were asking the question, how can we work together to fix this? And so from the humble beginnings of a tiny nonprofit organization working in one school, we ended up supporting over 20 schools in our rural hometown. We went to 2, 3 other provinces. And what we saw was change at levels that we had not seen before. And a lot of that change really, if I'm being serious, was not physical change. It wasn't building a school necessarily. It wasn't providing computers, even if we did that. It was mindset change, getting people to understand that they were the change they were looking for, that there was nothing wrong with them. All they had was a different experience that they needed to share, a different experience that they needed to build on. And I can tell you right now, we have children that are, for the first time, I remember meeting parents and saying to me, "Bao, it's not possible. Our kids cannot access an American education." Guess what? We have children in American schools right now. Not one, not two, multiple children in American schools. And beyond that, these kids are saying to me, "Madam, I want to provide water to my old school." There's no donor funding here. There is no large multilateral agency coming in and defining the change. It is these young people in their communities. All we needed to do was provide a leg up for these young people. And for me, I think the change was not just communal, it was also personal. I remember leaving home and arriving in America. And for me, what I find interesting looking back is that there was never a question of never wanting to come back. And even when I came back and people were asking, "Why did you come back?" which to this day they still ask me, then I have to ask the question back. Are you asking me why I came back home? It's almost as if people expect you to leave the country and make a home abroad. And then what happens to home? We need to find ways of building home. There's been so much looting and plunder of this continent and its resources. Our philosophies, last time we talked about Ubuntu, the idea that I am because you are, for me extends beyond my personal knowledge, my personal awareness. It extends beyond me engaging with other people around the world. Instead, it is holistic. Ubuntu talks specifically about taking care of the environment. And yet today, one of the catchphrases is climate change and environmentalism. Where are we as the champions of Africa? How do I, as an Ubuntuist, build a business, a company that responds to my needs as an African, to the needs of the African continent in this 21st century? And so the reality is, living in America was easy, living in Europe was easy, coming back home, a challenge. But that has been the beauty of it. People completely misunderstanding you, your motivations, but as long as you stick to the goal, you can make the change. And this group, I believe, is definitely making the change. I'm going to try and not eat up the time for everybody else, but happy to come back to this another time. Thank you, Beatrice.
Thank you so much, my sister Mbao. It's always a delight having all of you in one space and sharing this nugget. You know, challenge is the space that makes us grow. If you live in your comfort zone, you never know how taller you can be, how much you can stretch yourself. And if you never get to stretch yourself, you never know how many people's life you can impact. And living on earth, it's about impacting others and growing with them. So if living in Europe is a comfort zone, then I'll say, hey, get away with a comfort zone. Give me my challenge so that I can grow. So I celebrate all of you who come back to grow together as a collective, as Ubuntuists, like you nicely say. There's so much that we can share here. And again, this is just the starting point of this conversation. If you're joining us online, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, please feel free to join the conversation use the comment box. Talking about that, the tiny Thyssen consulting. I see you. I acknowledge you. I celebrate you, whoever you are. I know you're in Zambia, you say. So we see you and we celebrate you. Please keep the comments coming. Keep the conversation going online. we need more of these conversations. And why I am watching you put the conversation out there, spark the conversation out there, I want to take us back to Nigeria and give Dr. Telema again the space to explain. You've set up. Tell us about your journey in Nigeria. You've talked from a personal perspective. How has the impact been? Where are you going to? What is your African dream, and how is it manifesting for you?
Okay. Basically, like I said, and our other speaker has reiterated, it hasn't been easy, but here I am, and accept the challenge. So basically, what I have done, aside working as a medical doctor in Nigeria and organizing and being part of various outreaches, medical outreaches, medical outreaches. Um, I I don't think I would have had the opportunity to set up this structure if I was outside Nigeria. And so I'm very grateful that I made that decision to come back. Um, Basically, what I have done or what I'm thinking is how to um, create, or by my profession, I'm thinking of how the healthcare system in Africa can be top notch. And we have a lot of doctors that of African origin that are abroad. As a matter of fact, right now in Nigeria, we're facing major brain drain. Doctors are leaving the country every second. And for me, it's an opportunity to, make the healthcare sector work where people in the rural areas can access good, cheap medical services. And so that's why I came up with the Telematic Healthcare Nigeria. So we are planning to organize our first blood drive in the city of Port Harcourt in Nigeria, where we get people to donate blood. And we want to focus on mothers and children who maybe have some anemia, and pregnant women who suffer from postpartum hemorrhage. And that's what we're focused on with that blood drive. And there's so many opportunities. Beatrice knows that we also have stuff we're doing in Sao Tome. It's a beautiful place anyway. It's one amazing country that, I don't think I've ever seen. It's so peaceful. The economy is stable, but the problem, with South Tome is the mindset, it's still the African mindset. It seems like, I don't want to use the word, but pardon me to use the slave mentality word. Everybody's just caged in that. And when my colleagues, friends back in school were like, man, I'm going to the UK, I'm going to the US. That's exactly I'm like, look, I'm forever going to be a slave. I might get paid, but I will never be treated as first class. Never. I would never. In fact, they might even treat me like third class because for those of you who have worked in the US in the medical field, they will first employ white Americans who schooled in America, and then then the next people will be white Americans who schooled outside America, and then the next set will be Asians and all that. And then before they start thinking about Blacks, Nigerians, Africans, and all that. So I thought about all this, and I'm like, no, I had to come back home. Now, I am looking at an Africa where because I don't know, we have everything here. I just don't know why we have not been able to, tap into it and convert this to whatever life or whatever economy, greener pastures in quote, I really cannot say why we have not been able to just to see that. I was going to Sao Tome a couple of months ago, and the plane I was in was filled with like 80% white people, and I'm like, why? Why are they coming? You know, why are they going to Sao Tome? What?
Dr. Telema, you're breaking, and I will ask you to, we're
See
looking
it.
at time so we can get to the other session. May I ask you to wrap it up quickly, please, so that we can take Abanga Marie Angele before we close the session to move to the next.
All
The
right.
sections are scheduled online, so we need to really keep to the time frame.
All right. Okay. So I'll wrap up by thanking you, Beatrice, for this opportunity to share my story and to encourage others that are out there to come back home. I encourage you, come back home. The journey may not be easy, but trust me, you have brothers and sisters that are here to help you who have, made this journey. So please come back home. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor, and thank you for your example of coming back home. We are going to go to Cameroon and get Marie Abanga to give us a little bit more of her vision. What is the vision? What is her African dream? And we have just like 6 minutes to move to the next session. So I will ask her to really be quick. And all of you who are in, please, we still have the session that comes after this one, where we all convene together again, where we can share much more content, much more experiences. So you don't want to go away. Make sure that you stay near and come back after the next session. So Abanga, it's over to you. What is the dream? Where are you right now? Can you hear me, Metro Abanga? Please take it away. Unmute yourself, please. Looks like she's having a challenge with the network. And so if that be the case, then we will take her in the session on the question and answers. She is not. Okay, I think something is not right with this, the network at the moment. I am going to have to close up this session. Thanking you, all the speakers, all the homecomers, all the incredible, powerful homecomers who were in this session from Zambia, from Nigeria, from South Africa. One of our speakers one from South Africa was not able to join us. I hope that we can get him another time. And right now we will close this session, and then those of you online, please grab the next link. Grab the next link because we are moving to the next session, and the next session we're focusing on African homecomers who did not go to their home countries, but rather to another African country. So we'll see how the dream and the experience is like being in a country which is different from your home country. Again, I am Anthea Beatrice Achaleke. I'm your host, and I'll see you in the next session. Make sure you don't go away.